So welcome back to the FitBiz Journey podcast. In this episode, I'm going solo, besides Lizzie sitting right next to me. But during the holidays and Christmas, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, by the way. But I wanted to just create this solo episode before we fly out for Europe. And in this episode, I'm going to talk about basically the opening of new studios. And the reason why I want to talk about it is because so many people have been reaching out to me. I guess it's the season to think about it. Because so many people are opening up their new studios, their second locations, or just their first ever location. So I wanted to create this episode to guide you and to destroy that belief that a studio needs to open in around 6 to 8 months, 3 to 6 months, and all those beliefs, right? And then that it's how crazy it is in construction, it will be crazy overpriced, like $300,000 or more. So I just want to break those down because it doesn't have to be like that. We are able to open up our studios that are winning awards just like this one in New York City, in Florida, in Boca Raton, and all over the place in under 2.5 weeks and way under the budget that you ever could imagine. So I just wanted to create this episode to go against that belief, to help you guys not spend crazy amount of money, not going out of business, and then not have some crazy headaches. So let's get started. Okay, so to give you an example, when I first opened up my very first location about 7 years ago in Tampa, that's one of the locations that I actually acquired, right, back in the day. But then I opened up my own location with the money that I got from the first one to open up this one we're sitting in, the second one. And you know, the contractor and everybody that I hired and I talked to, they said it will take about 6 to 8 months. So, and then so many people, and online I used to research, and it said actually 6 to 8 months. Because of, you know, the permits, the construction, the contractors, and all these things. And I believed that at first. And sure enough, it was 6 to 8 months. It was a horrible experience. And then anytime when I drove by, and we have all these windows all around, like the whole thing is like a fishbowl. So anytime I would drove by, either nobody's here working, or it was maybe the electrician sitting on the corner, on the phone, walking around, slowly working, that kind of stuff. Maybe another day a plumber, maybe another day the general contractor, maybe the tile people, and all these people just all over the place, right? So I was like, this is why it's taking 6 to 8 months. What the hell is going on? And then the permits, people don't walk the permits, they wait and all these things. And I was just like, this is just ridiculous. So eventually, I had obviously help that come on board to help me out finishing it up quicker, because that was my first actual building and I didn't know better. So I thought this is how it's supposed to be, right? Now, and this is what I'm going to tell you, that it's not how it's supposed to be. Since then, with my business partner, we have learned that how it's actually supposed to be done. And like I said, we were able to go from 6 to 8 months to all the way down to 2.5 weeks. 2.5 weeks to open up a brand new studio. And with everything that we have and look luxurious, that is being featured in magazines saying it's a luxury location in New York City, West Village. So anyways, what I was going to say with this is that it's just not working out like that. So the next studio we opened, we were like, okay, we need to open that in like 3 months. And that's what we set for goals. So we opened up in like 2 months and some weeks. And we're like, okay, so now that's way better. And then now we were like, okay, so the next one, the big challenge is open up 2 studios at the same times in under 3 months. And we did that. We opened up 2 studios at the same exact time in under 3 months. And then lastly, we were like, okay, in New York City, we're opening up a new studio. We're gonna need to open that quick, really quick. And then sure enough, the goal was for a month and we opened up in 2.5 weeks. We signed literally the lease, we did the construction and everything, and we were ready to go in under 2.5 weeks. Nobody literally realized. They thought we'd been constructing there for like 6 months when we opened. And we're like, no, we just signed the lease 2 weeks ago. And then they were like, what? on the third week, basically, we were trained clients. And you know, it was, if you look at the pictures, before after pictures of the studio, I mean, there was nothing there, completely dead empty. And when we signed the lease, we already had the next day all the stuff arriving, you know, in a container that we're gonna use to build out the studio. Now, anyways, to get back to all of this, how is it gonna help you? So, well, firstly, I just want to destroy that belief that a studio takes you $300,000+ or even over $100,000 and 6 to 8 months, because it is not. So, just wanted to make sure that it's clear to you. So now I start thinking about it, how you get better and talk to the contractors and everything. But here's the thing, to give you an example, when we were opening up a studio, this first one, so everything was unorganized. The general contractor was managing everything, right? And then the GC, right? And then the plumber were here and then the electrician wasn't because they didn't want to work together or whatever reason. They hate each other, they don't like each other, or they just in each other's way, so they're going to have different days. Now the plumber is stuck, so now the electrician says, well, if the plumber doesn't get done in there, then I'm not going to put in the electric outlets or whatever it is, right? So there's this misfits the ongoing throughout the construction, which pushes back the day more and more and more. So that's why when we open up the two studios at the same time, we had, like, let's say the plumber at Studio A and the electrician at Studio B, and then they were switching and moving and everything, and it was always moving, there's always somebody working. So now if you put it into your hands and manage the schedule of the contractors way better, or if you do it yourself and then just hire a GC for the license and all those things, or even better, if you find a space that you can get away with a remodel without any issues. What I mean, it already has the certification of occupancy and all those things, you know, and then all you do is basically a facelift inside with the landlord approval and all that kind of stuff, then you can get away with almost anything, especially if it already has a shower, and then or the plumbing for it. And then there's other ways too, which I will share later episodes, that how we built also our showers, our own showers basically, that we call human dishwashers. But we've done that too, from scratch up to all the way built it. But long story short, what I tried to just share you is, do not, in New Year's, because so many of you message me about opening a new studio, do not go in and just okay the general contractor with the budget of whatever, $150,000 to $300,000 and a build out time of 6 months or more. Do not do that. Do better than that. And I'm telling you here right now that it can be done in under a single month. And if you have seen our locations, you see how amazing our locations look like and how awesome the showers are, how awesome everything that we have built in it. And yes, it can be done in that much time. So if you have any questions or if you need help, don't forget to reach out at any time. I just really wanted to give you this quick message to break that belief down for you that you need to spend 6 months and tons of money on opening a studio, because you do not. So make sure you know this and make sure that you plan ahead in a way that you're not going to spend that much time on it or money. So now that you know this, make sure you think about it and make sure you actually plan it out. Lastly, with all the locations we opened, and again with this quickly, each studio, by the way, on the way, we have learned so much, because there's always new things to learn about and how to do faster everything, like from ordering stuff, where we're ordering it, and everything. We've wrote down every single step and figured out that where we're getting A, where we're getting B, where we're getting that item, who is putting it together, who is doing that construction part, who is doing this and this, and we have everything put together, and everybody's working together like this, like Tetris, all put together, and everybody just moving together, not completely separated weeks out. So you might want to talk to your general contractor if you use one, to the next build out, and plan it out with him and nail it down with time. Because lots of times general contractors also have like 10 different projects going on at the same time, and they're only gonna spend a few hours on yours. So in a week, and then they just send the contractors there, and that's usually a mess. So that's why I'm just telling you that you might want to think about twice opening a new studio. And the other thing, if you think about opening a second studio, make sure the first one could pay for the second one without any problems whatsoever. Otherwise, don't even think about opening up, of course, a second studio, because you don't need to. First, always grow vertically, and once you did that, you can grow horizontally. Is that how you say it? Yes. And make sure that that everything is all maxed out. So any way possible before you even open up the second studio. If you guys have any questions, make sure to reach out to me at FitBiz Podcast, which is on Instagram, or my personal one, which is Daniel Z Nieri, is basically my personal Instagram. Or just go to fitbizpodcast.com, send in a contact form, whatever you like, and I answer any of your questions. Well, have a happy holidays, and I just really wanted to share this with you really quickly. Goodbye.